What happens when a creative genius needs long-term execution?
Use this. I'm like, yeah, I've been using it for almost like a year. It's like, no. Then now calls the producer, the South African producer. Why haven't you had all these guys?
My guest today is Soji Ogunnaike, producer, director, editor, colorist, and a founder of not one, but 2 production companies. From being the youngest technical director on Big Brother Nigeria in 2006 to building Russian Tap Studios with full sound stages and high-end gear.
I was one of the lucky starters in business where we got good gigs. And I have always been one to keep operations small.
Soji has not just been in the industry, he's helped shape it.
Because one thing I struggled with was networking. I wasn't able to build the networks that mattered. It's something I'm still learning, but I know that's why, we didn't have that exponential growth.
This journey shows us that creative ambition must be backed by structure, and that sustainable success in Nigeria's media space requires grit, vision, and strategy. In today's episode, we'll unpack the stages of that journey, from spark to the studio. Hi, Soji.
Yeah, what up?
It's so nice having you here. Thank you so much for coming. So I think let's just go straight into it. What was your earliest memory of falling in love with film and media?
I won't say I fell in love with film. I fell in love with the computer.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So the computer is... I always knew that the computer would be behind everything I was going to do as an adult. I started off, thinking I was going to be a programmer. This was towards the end of my secondary school. I was fortunate enough to be one of those kids that my dad bought a computer in the house.
Okay.
And obviously I was the only one that used it.
Okay. Out of all of your siblings.
I was the only one that used it. And, I just kept on... my curiosity led me to figure out, okay, what's this thing about? What can it do? Obviously, my brother was interested in playing games on it, but I knew there was a lot more to computer than playing games or typing documents. And I started to read, and luckily we were able to get the internet. I mean, those that remember dial-up internet.
At that time.
Yeah. And so I started to poke around the internet. So just came across several search engines before Yahoo, Lycos, Excite.
Wow.
The Gen Z obviously don't know what I'm talking about.
This is them.
But yeah, I started to poke around the internet and, look at what cool things the computer could be used for. And I got into Unilag in 1999 and I got into read physics. And by my second year, an older friend of mine set up a cyber cafe. It was a thing then. And because I already figured out how to assemble a computer then, other friends of mine, we came together and we helped him put together the cafe, which was in the Faculty of Science then. It was called Victuals. It was called PMG, I'm sorry.
Okay.
In Unilag, I was my second. That was 2000. So we set up a small cafe in Faculty of Science of about 4 computers, grew to about 6 eventually. The business grew to New Hall, which was a much larger cafe of about 20 computers. And we were the ones that set up the cafe, assembled all the computers because obviously he couldn't afford branded pre-built computers. So we went to Computer Village, bought the motherboards, bought the hard drives, bought a lot of other things and put them together. So yeah, this was just about 4 of us assembling the computers. It was crazy. But it was fun because I love poking around hardware. right? I love assembling stuff. And we ended up running the cafe. Went through different ISPs. So that was...
This was in school?
It wasn't cool. Yeah, okay. My grade sort of.
Was the cafe within the campus?
Yes, it was in New Hall.
Okay.
In Unilag. It was in New Hall. It was a complex, a mini complex in New Hall. So it was actually it was the first cafe in Unilag, I think. Yeah. And so from then I started to dig down Java, C++. Java is tough. But I knew that, okay, this one. So
this is not for me.
But you know, the funny thing is that I had always been the first in class guy. Yeah, I was getting prizes.
That was in secondary school.
Yeah.
And the story changed in the university?
Yeah, because of computers. So my grades sucked. And I knew I was a smart kid. I knew I wasn't cocky about it, but I just knew I was a smart kid. But I'm like, okay, there's a lot I can do with this smartness than get grades in school, in class. So that's why I started poking around and there's something I need to find.
Right.
So when I messed with Java and C++, I was like, nah, this is not... something just told me that, nah, this is not for you. Dabbled into website design. There wasn't WordPress then. It was HTML. You actually had to write web pages in HTML. Dabbling into that, it caught my interest a bit because I liked pretty looking pages. Dabbling into Flash, which was...
So you were really a tech bro.
I was a nerd. Tech bro. I was a nerd. I was a nerd. So dabbling into Flash. Then, I just knew that Flash wasn't going to last so long because there was always compatibility issues. This browser now being able to load Flash pages, this thing no go last. So I then dabbled into design, and that's when I kind of started finding my home. I was pretty religious in school, Unilag. I belonged to Harvester's company, which is Harvester's the church today. I was a founding member of the church.
Oh, interesting. So it started as a fellowship in school.
Yeah, that's the origin of that church.
Beautiful.
So I used to do with other guys in my department. I used to do the posters of the church. Yeah, the flyers and posters of the church. I go to print them in Shomolu, which was not too far from school. So I thought that I would eventually own a print press because people were making a lot of money from print presses then. I enjoyed design. I enjoyed making things look pretty. Then I met this guy called Dayo Edele. He's now in the US. He introduced me to the world of 3D animation. He had been dabbling into 3D animation using a software called 3D Studio Max. I dabbled into that, and I figured out, I'm kind of good at this. So I started doing some 3D animations here and there. Then I started getting gigs from one place to another to do opening montages. Which will eventually lead me to my first couple of gigs for Sound City. I did that. Way Me of Blessed Mary was their lead animator there. He brought me in. We did so when Sound City was going through like an overhaul. So Taj invited a couple of us to come and do a couple of montages. Yeah, but that's how I got into media.
Interesting.
So through 3D animation. Then I think I was towards the end of my second year, I met Tia because the owner of the cafe, remember there was a cafe, the owner of the cafe started dating the younger sister to Tia, the comedian. And Tia then had an office in GRA. He was running Time Out with Tia, that his show. Right. And he was partnered with DJ Tia at the time. So Tia invited me to the office one day for a meeting because, I was introduced to him. This guy, what about you? You should, so introduced to DJ T. So DJ T saw a couple of, so I already started compiling a portfolio. So that's when I knew the importance of having a portfolio.
Right.
So none of the work in my portfolio was commissioned. It was for any client. It was just me messing around.
So you were so interested in it, you would just play around and just keep stuff.
I'll see cool stuff. So I subscribed to, there's this 3D World magazine.
Okay.
Where people doing great VFX work, would put their work out there. So I was always getting that magazine. So anything I see there, I'll try to recreate that kind of thing. So I was just,
so every replication you just try to put together.
So I just put together as a portfolio. So that was me,
Nice.
And DJC was obviously very impressed. Yeah, who's this guy? So that was one of those I just go back that studied in film school. I said, no, I'm a ULAC student.
Self-thoughts.
Yeah. I'm a proud graduate of the University of Google.
Amazing.
He then said, Mr. Man, if you're really going to go far, you've got to learn video editing. Because the industry wasn't really ready for a lot of 3D animation.
At the time.
Yeah. Because I remember doing a station ident for Silverbird. It's so painful I can't find it anymore. So I used 3D Studio Max and used, that their logo, the S of the Silverbird TV. So I used dominoes to line up that S and created an animation using the camera to follow the dominoes falling, and eventually the camera pulls out to reveal the S. It was a really cool animation at the time. So someone introduced me to, I think, Mr. Jide, I can't remember his name, was like the GM. He was like, wow, this is amazing.
You did that by yourself?
I was just me messing around. Curiosity has always been my driving force. How does this thing work? So I did that, and, then that was my first lesson in negotiation. Because I remember when, who took me to him? I think it was a friend of mine who was in IT, Chuka. Yeah, he took me to his office because he was doing some IT work for them. And when he played the video, it was like, wow. I could see the hesitation in him that I want this, but I don't want to show the desperation. So that's my first, lesson in negotiation. Right. Okay, people playing with, So I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is too cool for you guys. It's way better than what you guys have out there. Right.
So at least you knew what you had,
I knew. And he then asked, so he said something very cocky. I was like, okay, you know what? He told you guys, let's shut down that meeting. Like he wasn't interested in it. And it was later that Chuka told me, okay, don't download. This guy wants this thing. He's waiting for you to throw an offer. But I didn't throw an offer because Chuka advised me, I don't throw an offer. Let them come and ask again. But I mean, that conversation just fell flat, So it wasn't about the money for me. It was about them wanting it.
Right.
So I conquered that.
That was enough.
And I just moved on. I wasn't interested in whatever they were going to offer. So that was that. And I got my first gig. After school, I got my first... No, during school, actually. During my final year, my grades were horrible. Am I allowed to use expletives?
Please go ahead.
My grades were shit. And there was a particular year, I think it was year 3, that Unilag decided it was a brilliant idea to send our results home by post.
Oh my God.
And I saw disappointment in my dad's face. Because that particular semester I flunked 2 courses. And it was just
my
bad.
Brilliant child.
It was bad. So he wasn't worried that, okay, is this guy
are you okay?
Joining cults? Is he taking drugs?
Was he
was worried.
Wow.
And I told him, I don't know. It's just this computer thing. I'm just spending more time. And he said, no, you are there for a purpose. Because the plan, the discussion he and I had was after Unilag, I will apply for scholarships abroad, my master's, that kind of thing. The typical path. And you're like, is this grades that you want to use to get if you really little do you know that I don't give a shit about physics because I was studying physics and I knew that it was going to be less to me. No harm to no pun intended for those that are actual scientists today, but I knew
it just wasn't for you.
Exactly, I knew it was going to be useless to me. I'm like, there's no point investing time and effort in building this grade in this course because I'm never going to use it. I knew that. And, that is one thing I'm eternally grateful for being able to realize my truth. I'm never going to use the degree.
And that's early.
Yeah. So I'm eternally grateful for that. I was able to find, that thing that I was passionate about, and people that actually liked me enough to guide me. You know. So that's how I really got into the industry, and I got my first job as a senior editor at
straight up, first job, senior editor.
Yeah, I was that good at av.com. They were producing Your Choice. I don't know if you know that choice, sponsored by Joy Soap then, and Love Venture, sponsored by Bacchus.
The song is ringing in my head.
Your Choice. It was presented by a very popular OEP lady.
Now.
So I was editing that show for them. You know, redoing all their intro montages for all their shows. av.com was the biggest production company in Nigeria at that time. I think, because I had a lot of shows on TV.
But senior editor as a first job.
Yeah.
And that was because you have had practice. You practice and you play by yourself. So at what point did you first believe, I mean now, from computers to 3D animation, to just find your path into media, you know, to getting your first gig as an editor. At what point did you first believe that this industry, I'm actually going to build something in it?
So I worked in av.com for a little over a year, and I got hurt very quickly. I mean,
why though?
The creative mind is very restless.
Well, yeah, I agree.
That's a fact. It's a very restless mind, and it's a cost that follows us all. Especially when you join an organization that is pretty much routine. You know, you're doing shows. What was my job? Edit. Could literally sleep and edit.
But editing in it, would you agree with me that there's some dynamism with it? Because I don't think every show you edit, no two shows are the same, even if it's the same show.
But when there's a way I look at editing.
Right.
You know, it's especially when you're doing formatted shows.
Right.
These are talk shows, game shows,
right.
lifestyle shows. It's the same thing. The timelines look the same.
So as an editor, you think of it from format. The content really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's because the person that's going to edit this podcast
right,
probably can't edit it for 2 years straight because it's a formatted show.
Right.
Intro link, intro guest, intro host,
right.
talk, intercuts, ad break, come back, talk, and credits.
So what you're talking about, you know, consign up.
That's what I'm saying. So
right.
it's so that's the thing with formatted shows, right? And it brings me to something that I've recently learned. You know, as a business owner, you need to be able to distinguish between what is routine and what is important. You know, I learned that from Mr. Paul one day, the CEO of Landmark. You know, he said that in an interview as pre-profile. It hits me, and I'm like, this is a cost take a lot of business owners make, not being able to distinguish. You know, when you find yourself doing routine stuff, failing, you need to be able to distinguish and know that, look, this isn't important enough for me to. Because at the head of a business, your key responsibility is to keep the business alive and growing. Right? So the moment you're distracted by doing routine stuff, you're failing. Failing your baby. Because that baby must be growing. And so it's something I've learned, and I'm conscious. Let's face it, we all fall
But would you agree with me that I agree 100% without doubt with that line of thinking? But that also comes at a certain stage in the business. So, for example, for those that are starting out, I mean, if we dial back to the point where you started out, when it was still morphing from idea into something tangible, you were still trying to make a business out of it. You couldn't afford to have the right structures or team. Hell, you couldn't even afford to bring a second person in. True. So plus routine, plus oversight, plus everything is you.
It comes
So I just want us to be able to, because these are also pressures that young entrepreneurs running businesses feel, and they're like, or where in their heads they feel, oh, this is how a CEO is supposed to be, then you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing to help a business even first of all lift off the ground before you can now soar.
I agree. Yeah. So that's me jumping the gun. So yeah, I mean, this podcast definitely should reach out all stages of growth of entrepreneurship. And yeah, let me go back. Let me reverse.
Sorry, I just had to put that there.
It's important, sometimes again we are restless creatives. So right after AV.com, I did a bit over a year there, and I decided to go on my freelance journey.
Right.
That's what was my exposure into the world of businesses and the needs of businesses. So I was freelance editor, freelance animator, freelance technical director, because I won't call it technical director because I didn't go out and say I'm a technical director, but I did technical director stuff on projects, not knowing it was a role.
In terms of the role. You even took up that responsibility, not knowing that was what you were doing. Interesting.
So I'm hired as an editor, but I'm creating the workflow of the cameras and the post-production systems. Right? So, I'm there in the MCR switching. I'm ensuring all the camera feeds are good and cameras are aligned. I didn't know that it was, an entirely different role. But I mean, passion was always driving me. Mashashi. And so I worked on a couple of shows. Amstel Malta box of the first one, worked up tons of shows, tons of projects, and I would say my defining break came in 2006 when, because I'd done a few stuff with IBST, it's owned by Remy Ogunpeter. Before then, let me even say how I even started doing anything with them.
Okay.
So I started learning color grading on my own because I figured out that was a hole that needed to be filled in Nigeria. Because our movies weren't graded, our shows weren't graded. People would just edit them.
Just throw it out there.
So I knew that it's something that is missing from what we're doing with what is outside there. And then realized, this is it's color grading. So I started learning color grading and downloading software, learning the trade, learning the art. And I started doing a couple of gigs as a colorist. There's a filmmaker, his name is Mr. Bayo Awala. I think he's about 90 now. He got wind of me and he invited me to
so that
IBST.
Gap was there. Nobody was just feeling it.
Yeah. And he invited me to IBST. So then they were doing Doctor's Quarters. It was a very popular show for Mnet then. And obviously there was a couple of South African directors, South African editors around. So I was in the waiting room. I was on my laptop. I was trying to finish up one job. And there was this editing software called Avid Express Pro that nobody was using. And at the time, it was like the Hollywood standard.
Oh.
Yeah. Nobody was using it. He was using Premiere. Everybody was using Premiere and maybe Final Cut. So I was trying to finish up something on Avid Express Pro. So there's this white director that just walked behind me. And I noticed he did a double take. He stopped and went back. Then he started looking into my computer. And you would know it's always again. Then I'm like... And he's like, is that Avid? I'm like, yeah. Then he goes, why haven't we heard about you? Because that was a standard that, South African productions were using. So they had to come in and train people.
Oh.
But there's this kid.
So just to find some kid who already plays with this thing.
He was like, no. You use this? I'm like, yeah, I've been using it for almost like a year. He's like, no. Then now calls the producer. South African producer. Why haven't you heard of this guy? And they booked me for my first test.
Amazing.
Yeah, because they didn't believe. Test as an editor. They didn't believe. They're like, no. Are you available to do a quick test?
Yeah, let's
give me a couple of clips. Give me a video. And they were like,
so you really can use this thing?
They're like, are you available to start work? That's how I got my first gig on Amstel Malta box office. This was at 20. I was 23 or 20, 24, whatever.
So were you thinking of building a business at this time, or you were just going with the flow?
Faffing around, getting free cash, buying
as a
new
freelancer.
Toys. I was in my father's house.
I get it now.
So it was just extra cash for me to mess around with, buy new laptops, buy new toys, and I started earning 6 figures then at 23. Amounts that some bankers were not earning.
Big boy on every level without responsibility.
Bought my first car, bought laptop, whatever. But anyway, that's how it started. So right after Amstel Malta box office, the director, Harry Lagrange, who I'm eternally grateful to, he then goes, "Oh, Soji, we are preparing for Big Brother Nigeria. Are you available in June?" Well, literally just finished them, so it's about February. I'm like, yeah, as what? He's like, "I don't want you to be my editor," because he loved working with me as an editor. "I want you to be a technical director on Big Brother." I'm like, "What is that?" He says, "No, I know you can handle it, because on the finale, which was live
of the Amstel Malta box. Okay.
We didn't have all the live broadcasting tools we have today, so it was tough. But I was going around ensuring cameras were aligned, and he saw all of that. So I always tell people, you think people are not watching? People are watching. He saw that, and he knew I didn't go to film school, so he was just intrigued. Tani boy, and he goes, "You are not going to be an editor. You are going to be a technical director, because I know you can do it." And he got into a fight with Erica, was the supervising producer, Erica Klopper. And he got into a fight with Erica, because Erica says, "No, I cannot lose Soji as editor." So this was two South Africans fighting.
So it's like two heads of departments. Somebody wanted you as an editor. The other person said, "I can see more capacity. He needs to do more."
So he was able to win that fight.
How did that make you feel?
I don't know why I wasn't cocky.
You mean your shoulder should have been on your head?
I should have been the most cocky bastard.
Wow.
I don't know why I wasn't cocky.
Did you understand what was going on at the time?
Of course I did. Of course I did. So, because Big Brother was the first Big Brother in Nigeria.
What was going on in your mind?
So I knew that, okay, all of those sleepless nights of and people abusing me that you are antisocial. It's coming to fruition.
It's paying off. So you were seeing a reward for all my hustle.
Yeah.
That's why you weren't cocky.
Yeah, I guess so. 2006, I was the youngest technical director. I was 24 then. Youngest technical director on Big Brother. I did that for 3 months. And that was then I decided to found my first company.
Oh, then?
2006.
At 24.
So right after Big Brother.
What inspired that? Because just a year before, you weren't even thinking of.
So I knew I was going to have some sort of company, but I didn't know it would be that soon. Because remember, I had freelanced for 2 years and worked with agencies. So they were the ones that actually put seed in me. And the registered companies are the ones doing the jobs.
So if you continue as a freelancer, there is such you can get. Right.
Yeah. So the agencies are the ones that sowed that seed in me. And, okay, you've got to put some structure to this thing.
Right.
And I spoke to my dad. So this was my dad that almost disowned me for funking on my grades.
Yeah.
And when I got that first by I was so upset. Because then the MD of Mobile was his friend. He was like, "I've already called him. He says, anytime you're ready, you must start as contract staff in Mobile. You are here, you are going to do a stupid television. What are you going there?" So we had a fight. It was a fight. It was a very big fight. He thought I didn't know what I was doing. He thought, he was worried. Which, as any father would, he was just worried. I was playing with talent and time. So when I was now technical director on Big Brother, I mean, the first Big Brother was a big deal. Our parents were watching it.
Yeah.
You know, the one with Ebuka, Gideon.
It was the biggest thing out of Nigeria. Yeah.
So he used to, in his club where he and his friends were drinking beer.
That's my son.
He was waiting for them credits. So he was always doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, look at this guy that was about to disown me not long ago. So it made me feel very good. And, okay. My father has seen that I'm not useless or I'm not on drugs.
So he could believe you when you wanted to start
Exactly.
a company.
So I told him I wanted to start a company. He was like, am I sure? I'm like, yeah. He was like, okay, what are you going to do? I'm like, we're going to register the CAC. He actually introduced me to one or two guys in CAC. He said, what about office? You can start in the room. I can clear out the room. I said, no, I want to do something proper. You know, it's okay. Where are you thinking? I said, Ikeja. So our first office was off Toy.
So he backed you.
It
was your first
inspection. No, not yet. During the first inspection of the office, he actually took me there. He said, let me go and see this. So he met the landlord. You know, says, someone wants to work office. Yeah, we had that, you know, and it's actually, thinking about it is it makes me a bit emotional because the man has been there. Beautiful. So he's a pretty misunderstood guy, but I know him. And when I had done about 2 years in that business, you know, things were looking good. You know, getting gigs from agencies. Then I started producing, because then I was a post guy. Before then I was like post guy. Then I started producing, having guys you go on board. I started hiring people. The structure, and he saw that, you know, he'll come anytime he's around Ikeja, he'll come and see me. Reception, you tell him to wait. You know, he's like, okay, this guy is trying. And then we talked about business, and he was like, okay, what do you want to do next? I'm like, there's this gear. It was a color grading suite. It was called Silicon Color Final Touch. Software, hardware, all the works, not the panels and all. And I said, okay, that's what I want to do. I want to set that here, so to be the first to go. So he invested in me, and I was blown away that he could even do that.
Thank God for supportive parents, or just generally supportive people,
even
especially the early
money,
stages.
He just saw that okay, this guy kind of has something going. So he did that, and was the first color grading suite in Nigeria.
What were the key skills or lessons that you had to master to get 601 real time up properly?
I'm a very curious guy. So from learning out the hottest gear in post-production, my interest now, expanded to how to run a business, how to, how to start looking up successful people, things like that. And I remember when I think it was 2007, the Lagos Business School started this OMP, Owners Managers Program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I went there. I actually saved the money for it. How much was it then? I think it was about 3 or 4 million or something like that.
Back then?
Because,
what year was this?
I think 2007 or 2008, thereabout. So I went there. Young boy, I remember about 26 now. I want to do this course. So the lady looked at me and like, is it you that wants to do it, or is it for someone else? Because
as someone's assistant, you get to register
I
for them.
scanned the room,
right?
And they had like this wall of fame of different classes.
So
it was one of the elite courses.
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
It was one of the elite courses because it was going to include 1 week in Spain or so.
Right.
But what he said, I had saved the money because I knew I wanted to do it. Then I already knew that, okay, if I eventually enter this course, I'll be like everybody's child.
Right.
Because they're older guys, established businessmen, some of them running public companies in there. And she looked at me and says, we have certain criteria for people. She was very rude.
She was already condescending.
She was such a rude girl. I think it was, is it Sylvia or Cynthia or not? I'm forgiving her because I actually held that against that school.
Oh, wow.
The school actually approached me to give classes, and I taught them now, some years after. Yeah.
Do they know why?
So, funny enough, today we're partnered with PAU to encourage students, and I told them. I told them now, but it's not a big deal now, but it was then. Because this is a young guy that you just want to crush for no reason. They try to make excuses for the guy. I said, no. If she's not capable, then she should be hired in a position. Because she was like...
That was years after or at that time that you made that complaint. After. Okay.
Anyway, she said, what was the first thing? Prerequisite, minimum of 40 million turnover, yearly turnover, which was a big deal then. And we're doing maybe 15, 20. And I told her, if I was doing that turnover, I won't be here. I'm here to learn how to make that turnover. Yosha is an elitist, is not for... And I walked out of the office.
So you didn't do that course?
I didn't do it.
Interesting.
And I swore I'll never do a course in LBS. I swore. And it still holds till today. They'll probably see this, but...
Okay. In these early days, how did you fund yourself and support your business in that early stages before the business started making enough money to sustain itself?
So I was one of the lucky starters in business where we got good gigs. And I have always been one to keep operations small. I'm a brand ambassador of bootstrapping. I've always been one to, if it's not necessary, don't expand. If it's not necessary, just keep it small. Keep it small. Hire based on projects. That's how I've been able to manage and not go crazy. And so we're able to keep the lights on, grow a bit. I mean, growth wasn't as phenomenal as I would have loved, to be honest. Because one thing I struggled with was networking. I wasn't able to build the networks that mattered. It's something I'm still learning, but I know that's why, we didn't have that exponential growth. We didn't expand to the right places that needed, expansion to. Yeah. So, we didn't get any external investment. We didn't get any funds from anywhere.
So it was majorly what the business was making that you were just pretty much turning around, plus keeping a very lean team.
Exactly.
To ensure that, okay, when a project comes, at least the project will pay for
everything.
What will work.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So, what would you say so far has been your boldest decision? Like, what decision did you make that you knew that, but I will make it?
Okay, as 2022. So, I ran 601 real time till about 2014.
Okay, that's from 2006 to 2014.
And I then started looking at the trends, What
led to you winding it down?
There was no point running two companies.
Oh, so at that time, had you opened another?
So I was... so the trends pointed me in the direction of content.
Okay.
Okay, the DNA of 601 Real Time is really a service-based company.
Right.
It's not really about creating content. So I met a couple of guys, Lani, Aishida, OJ, Neboje, and we formed Rushing Tap, which was strictly a content company.
So those are co-founders with you?
Those were co-founders.
Where?
I mean, today they're no longer. We had to.
Okay. Restructure.
Well, I don't know the English one to use it, but everybody share.
They found out.
Share buyback, combination of share buyback, everything share.
Right.
You know. So 2014 we founded Rushing Tap, ran it, shot our first series, plus 2, 3, 4.
Oh, I remember plus 2, 3, 4.
So that was, and we did POV the series.
Oh yeah, I remember POV the series.
And so we're just trying to find our foot in terms of how to make a proper business out of content.
Right. Okay.
Because all roads pointed towards content at
Right.
the time. So we're trying to figure out, okay, how do we do it? Is this serial content? Is it film? Is it short form? Is it YouTube? We're just trying to put our hands into a lot of pies and see which ones worked. So that kept us going until, the previous client, 601, were still obviously calling.
They still needed that service.
Services, so we're still rendering those services as well. So it was a combination of all of that. But we knew that we're heading towards
Content.
building a content business. And in 2022, I got into a couple of conversations. At this point, it was just me, because the other co-founder had left.
Oh, really? That was how many years after you started? You started in 2014.
And they left 3 years after.
So that's 2017. They were already out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just me. I mean, but I knew that.
You yourself and you.
So it won't be the first time being me alone, because I'm a one-man soldier now. And in 2022, I got into conversations with a group of investors who were interested in media, and they spoke about how we could invest into media. I talked about studios. So it started off as free consultancy. Yeah, okay, what do you think about this? Studio, I gave them my thoughts. And a couple of weeks later, they invited me for a meeting. I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to build a studio facility, but we need a partner that has experience in the industry. So that's how the conversation really grew to a partnership where they invested a significant chunk, and we did a due diligence, did an evaluation of companies. So that's my first time evaluating a company. It's a very shocking procedure.
Shocking.
Yes, it is shocking. Because
shocking how?
Sometimes you overestimate yourself. So it was needed for me to put this in perspective. You're not that hot cake. When it comes to speaking to investors, how much are you
when it came down to the numbers,
that's what I'm saying. How much are you bringing to the table? Right? That equity doesn't mean shit. They give you as nice.
Yes, but what's
the value in numbers of your company?
Right.
So it's something I think a lot of entrepreneurs should go through at some point.
Especially in the creative space.
Yes. Because we're filled with a lot of ego as creatives. So we need to go through it, and it actually makes us...
Just some reality check.
Do you understand? You need to slap yourself back. Oh God, you're not that.
When you calm down. In reality, when it comes to the numbers,
this is what you're worth.
Right.
As obedience, we say, take it to court.
Go and verify.
Well, yeah, go and verify. Yeah, because these guys gets the best valuers, the best financial guys. So value your company. So they're not bullshitting you. They're telling you as it is.
No emotions attached. No creative attachments.
They don't care about it.
Pure numbers.
Do you understand? They value what you're bringing to the table because you're already going to run
Yeah.
and be, custodian of the investment.
Right.
But in terms of what value you're bringing, at that point, cash is very important. So enough creators need to understand that. I had a conversation with a guy that got copy sale Prime Video deal, and it was last year actually. And they came to us, okay, can we invest in this? It's a pre-sale deal. It's pretty much money on the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
All you need to do is
Fund
the production of the film, and ask you, see, you get your money,
Yeah.
right? And I then ask him, so throw me your offer. How much stake do you believe you are really worth in this, considering you're not bringing a dime? And he goes, he's worth 60%. And I laughed and I said, the only reason why I'm having this conversation is because you're my friend. An investor would have walked you out. He didn't take it lightly, but I said, that's the way they have conversations. And you need to learn. So you need to convince me how your stake in this venture is worth 60%. Let's say we're going to raise 250 million. So we will bring 250 million. You will bring your head and you want 60% out. Do you understand? So
Right.
I had to let him understand. I'm like, look, whether or not this deal happens, you need to understand how these things work. You're no longer that cool director. You're a stakeholder in a business, and the value most likely will be associated
Cash on the
with
table.
cash. So I'll be nice and give you 15%. He didn't take it lightly. He was pissed. Well, that's the way the world works. I'm sorry. And my partners must not even hear I give 15% sweat equity. 15% of 250 million is well over 25 million.
And you're not even bringing that in.
You
don't even have that to bring.
So I had to break it down to him that more of us creatives need to have these conversations. And like we mentioned earlier, we don't talk enough.
Right.
We're just filled with ego, and that's why
Everybody's
we're
ego everywhere brushing.
That's why we're where we are. We're not having these conversations. And I recently met like a rep of a huge fund, that right now that the owners of the biggest gym chain in Nigeria. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And he told me that, look, the smallest check they do is about $10 million. He said nobody in media has been able to
get that.
bring that business case. That shocked me to my bone. It's not like they're throwing money around, but they have this money.
But they just need to find a worthy.
But they don't throw small checks.
Right.
They don't deal with small. 10 million is the smallest. And I playfully threw that into a WhatsApp group that I was added to recently, film professionals, and I asked everybody. And who
has a $10 million idea?
Do you understand? And they were all laughing at me.
Hold on. Back up.
You see, let's not even go there.
Back up. Because I have a $10 million idea, but it's not about me right now. You mean you threw a question
No, it's not like
into
I'm
the
the
group.
rep of the
No, I get
PC,
that. I
but
get that.
I'm like, this is who I've met.
So you said I'm just trying to understand the context of this. You are in a WhatsApp group of fellow creatives in Nigeria,
Film professionals.
filmmakers, and you threw into the group that, hey, there's an opportunity. I met somebody. They don't throw small checks. Who has a $10 million idea? There's money on the table for the grabs, and you were laughed at.
He said, how many films they want to do? How many? And I said, so I had to explain to them that, It's
Okay.
It has to be one entity, all right? I mean, they're investing in one entity. They're not investing in an industry. The fact that I had to explain it, I just left that conversation like, you know what?
You're in the wrong room.
And
Wow, amazing.
so I'm glad that I've been through this journey, because I've had conversations with people that are not creatives. They are creative in their own right, but they are not creatives. And they've opened my eyes to the real reality.
So will you say you're a better grounded creative right now? Simply because that you've had exposure beyond your industry. You've had to deal with numbers guys, suit guys, because I imagine that after the humbling of knowing what you're truly worth when it comes to the numbers, ego stripped, you've had to deal with the legal of it, which also is another rigorous dotting the I's, protecting your interests, protecting their interests, and all of. Would you say that right now you are a more grounded or better creative? And what would you say to anybody within that creative space and is looking for how to scale? What do they need to do?
To those that are looking to scale in the creative sector, I'll say you can't go wrong with liking every business to the fundamentals. What I mean by it is, what are the fundamentals of business? Create a product or buy a product, sell it at a margin, move on. Repeat and rinse and repeat. Those are the fundamentals of business. So whether it's a product or a service, create it, sell it, or render the service, make a margin, rinse and repeat. Those are the fundamentals of business. So if you cannot prove that what you are offering or what you are building is repetitive and scalable, you don't have a business.
Okay, pause. Pause. Because I want this to be as real and as practical as it can get. Fundamentals. Sell a product, make a margin. No, buy a product.
Buy or make.
Buy or make. Add a
Sell.
margin, sell and make something. But if you call anyone at all doing business today, they will tell you that is the exact fundamentals that they follow. However, there are often blind spots. So, how do you get somebody away from a place where they believe they are actually obeying the actual fundamental principles? Or let's look back at your situation, right? Seeing that you've scaled from there. What did you find that were the blind spots with you at the time? So for example, here's what I'm saying. Is it possible that you do a lot of things? You're a colorist, you can edit, you can this, you can that. You get me? Would you say that there are certain things that you were doing that you weren't accounting for? That was then eating into your margin? That then didn't make your books look good enough? Or is it that you weren't documenting? Is it that, what were those in practical terms that came back to bite you when you began to have investor conversations?
Well, fair enough, I pride myself as one of those guys that I've always kept good books.
Good books, great.
And where did I learn that? In my association with better structured organizations,
Right.
there was AVF,
Right.
then very close to the accountants.
Right.
So I was always asking her how they kept their books and
Right.
advised me. So I was always having those conversations, and I knew it was important to keep books.
Right.
So instead of what I was doing that I shouldn't have let linger for so long was making myself the product.
Say that again.
Making myself the product, because it's just not scalable.
Expatiate. How were you the product?
So transcending from being a freelancer to running a company that is centered around you, you're the product. Forget the stuff you're paying. I mean, if you've worked in advertising of production, you know that the majority of the clients, if they don't see you, they're most likely not going to give you the work.
Right.
Or give your company the work. You're the product.
Right.
And it's not scalable. Yeah, so that's what I allowed linger for so long. And I decided that's what brought about the decision to go into content, like content be product as opposed to individual being the product.
Okay, so that was from 601 real time into Russian time.
Yeah.
At the time, we were having investor conversations. We were having investor conversations on Russian time. And it was an eye opener for you. What were those things that you found? Obviously, I mean, your words was that it was a shocking experience. What were those shocking moments for you? What was it with Russian Tap and how you were doing it that cleared your eyes when you were talking to investors?
So look at they look at two things. They look at month-to-month growth. They look at year-on-year growth. That essentially is the pulse of the business, the health of the business.
Right.
Obviously, being able to keep operational costs low.
Right.
So those things, as a creative, are what we lose sight of very quickly. And the moment you are not, at least flatline. Wait, bad.
Bare minimum.
Flatline. Once there's
For those who don't know what flatline is, do you mind explaining?
Let's go to
Okay, break even. At least.
So at
don't
least
be losing money. Stay
revenue,
steady.
Yeah, keep your revenue at this level.
Keep it steady.
Yeah.
Right.
And so those are the things that they were looking at. And okay. So they pointed out, that in a very friendly tone. That
today you make much. What happened here?
And this is where the health of the company started down. So to me, industry da.
What's going on to the industry? So industry has to be da.
Just and so they are like, okay, but we want to put money. Put money because we believe it can increase your capacity as an organization. Because you're going to harvest. How are you going to convert that money into bigger revenue? Not just rental. How is it going to increase your capacity?
Right. With what you do already.
Exactly. So those are conversations that we had to go in. And I had to think of an answer. Because I had several calls with several people.
So it got you really thinking of your business. You had to really go in. You were forced to do that.
Definitely.
So it's better to get to do that from now. As much as you can.
Yes, you should.
Go deep.
You should.
This is interesting, especially for creatives. If we're going to grow, if we're going to scale, we need external funds. And this is how external funds behave. Nobody wants to lose their money. So they want to see that, is it going to come back? Is it even worth putting money here? Is there even an injury? Money into Abi, we're just riding on horses.
So I remember when the BOI Nolly Fund came in.
Right.
What year was that? I think it was 2017 or thereabout. Where the BOI was giving single-digit loans to makers to do films and hoping to recoup in 2 years. So the idea was, produce a film, put it in cinemas, make money, pay back your loan, whatever. And then we just had about 30 there. Or some ridiculous number of cinemas. I just said, this is not going to work. I just simply not enough transactions. End of story. You know.
So if we cap the entire transaction, even if you were getting all of that,
Do you
it
understand?
was still not enough to make good money.
There's no way. So I went to the VBI office, got a meeting with the head of there was a unit there. Got a meeting, and I simply told the lady that, you know, I'm not here to pitch a film. I'm here to pitch, you know, let's call it a TV entity, you know, creating serial long form content, because I believe it's more sustainable, because there are many more monetization options, you know, as opposed to
a single
film, right? And I was laughed at. Yeah, she's like, no, we've done our research, we know what we're doing. Till date,
that's the bank.
Till date, only probably one person paid back that loan. Yeah. Yes, now you
went
know
down
this
the
now.
drain.
So all that money went down the drain, and they're struggling to, you know, figure out how to. You know, what did you expect?
Interesting.
Yeah. So today, I don't want to make sweeping statements about our people, especially in film. People just want a lot of free money.
But we need to grow past that.
Yes.
But so in your opinion, or in your experience, not opinion now, obviously your opinion is shaped by your experience. So in your experience, how do you think, as a creative industry, how can we grow past that free stuff, freebies, into creating real transactional funds? What do we need to do as individual businesses or as individual creatives to scale to attract the type of investment we actually really need to have?
Okay, in the last 5-6 years of our adult life, would you give me 3 businesses that have piqued your interest, regardless of
in the
industry?
creative space?
No.
Regardless of Elon Musk.
No, like, okay, in Lagos.
In Lagos, that has piqued my interest. First of all, Dangote. Dangote.
Okay, 3 phenomena, not businesses.
Dangote is not phenomenal
It's
enough.
not a phenomenon. It's a business.
It's a business.
Let me tell you
Phenomenal. Okay,
Let me
please
tell you
go
one.
ahead.
POS.
Oh.
It's a phenomenon. It's a bloody phenomenon.
Yeah, POS has been interesting.
Look at what Money Point is doing.
And there are 2 types of the POSs actually that I think have been very impressive. The first one is the POS, give me money, which was, first of all, irritating. I found it personally irritating.
Okay, mean the ladies that are on the road.
Yeah, because it's almost literally that they've legalized buying money. Right?
Yeah, there's a racket to that.
Well, whatever. I don't know about that. But you see, the other one that I find pretty amazing, and speaking to Money Point, is what they've been able to do with supermarkets and attendants at the till. Because then the challenge was the business owner, there was no way for you to do transfers without waiting for the long time that somebody somewhere, they will have to call madam. So think of shops, and with their POSs, you can transfer now, and the person actually sees the alert without necessarily getting into the account of the business. Phenomenal.
Exactly. So why is that? Why is Money Point doing so well? It's simply the number of transactions. Another thing is the digital banks.
Dealing with the masses.
The more the transactions, the better the business. And we need to apply that to our industry. So if we talk about film, we cannot, based on the current cinema model, it's impossible to make it healthy. It's impossible. Forget it. We'll have strides here and there. That's the December period. We'll have a peak and it comes back down in January. That's what it is. We just simply cannot sustain it as a healthy business.
So if I'm to put this together, your point is, if we're ever going to scale or make anything out of this industry or the creative industry generally, not just speaking to film or anything, we need to find how to do this at a massive scale, get the masses involved and collect their thorough kobo. And that is when it will make sense. Because if you actually look at it, learning from the fintechs, apart from the transactions that passes through their hands, they're this wealthy over 2%, 1% commission. But the transaction is in bulk. So it's like per second, they're constantly making money. Constantly making
Until
money.
we get there. How can we get there? Simple.
Okay. We have to figure it out.
No, it's staring us in the face.
Yeah.
We lived it. I mean, our generation lived it.
Right.
Community cinemas. We must go back.
Right.
We must.
Right.
You walk on the streets of Lagos, you see them selling television.
Right.
What do you see in front of it? People watching.
Interesting. So, okay, no. Let's not ask this as per investor.
You want to put me in problem, Abby?
I'm just thinking of how to phrase this. So, within the industry, for example, I mean, you've given different examples of how it's almost as if you are in a space where you tend to have foresight of, but not a lot of people see it or understand it, especially when you're talking about it. So, would you say that as a builder in the industry, especially from how you started and came into the industry, at what point within your business life would you say you began to feel seen?
Seen?
Yeah, or respected. Remember that you made a statement earlier about some of the things that you thought you could have done better was networking. It would have sped up your growth. What that says to me is that at that point you weren't seen in the right spaces. Hence, it affected the business. But you wouldn't also have gotten this far without being seen. Right? So at what point do you think you were able to make that cross? Or was there a particular, what would you say there was a particular project that serves as that turning point for you?
Well, I honestly don't think we're seeing yet, or I'm seeing it. I don't think we're seeing yet.
Okay, fair enough.
It's still a journey for
Fair
me, and I mean that's why I'm here. To be seen as much as I can, because we've gone to the point where the squeakiest wheel gets the most grease. And I'm not saying everybody should make noise, but there's a certain amount of amplification of your voice that needs to happen. Because it's so easy to be drowned by the noise. And my mantra used to be operate beneath hype. I still live by it. However, today's world drowns it. You will be drowned. The smartest guys in the room are the most silent, and they usually don't have a voice. I mean, you can see it all over. Look at your influencers. I'm sorry to make sweeping statements, but it is what it is. Look at influencers, look at skip, because they're not the smartest guys in the room. That's the truth. But the smartest guys in the room are too silent. So we want to get to the point. We want to get to the point where we are lending our voice, regardless. And that meant to do it, podcasts like this. If you're invited to a podcast, it won't cost you anything. Go there, lend your voice. Go teach. And that's something I enjoy as well. Teach people, production, producing, whatever, just teach. Apart from doing good, it helps you lend your voice as well.
Interesting. So operate beneath the hype. Let your work speak for you. You're laughing. Let your work speak for you, right?
It doesn't ever speak.
It doesn't ever speak for you.
You
really?
speak for you.
So what you're saying now is carry your matter for head, hawk it, and make the noise by yourself. Every creative should learn to leave their creativity, set it aside for a bit, and be a marketer, be a salesperson, be whatever it takes for your market to get out there.
Yeah.
Are there certain creative skills that get in the way of business structure, then vice versa? Now you are a hybrid, right? You are now managing investors. Yes, now you're a creative and you are now a businessman. You have to make returns on investments that have been made into your business, right? Literally. So there are two sides of the coin, which oftentimes probably conflict. Are there certain things that are creative that often get in the way of you as a business person? Are there certain hats or certain sides of your business or skills within your being a businessman that gets in the way of you being a creative? And how do you blend that?
You know what? Ego. Yeah. Creatives are mostly egotistical beings. Yeah. So we have an ego in us. Because especially when you become good at what you do, you have that ego in you, and it a lot of times tends to get in the way of a lot of things. I've made many mistakes. For instance, managing people, clients. You know, I've lost business. Would I say ego? I don't know what to call it, but when you're dealing with a client on a big project and you know the client is giving you a lot of bullshit, but you then call out the bullshit. No client likes that.
That's your money now. You go hungry now.
Do you know what I'm saying? So those are little mistakes that we make, you know, because you know you have to have that. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, for those that don't understand Yoruba, I know more than what this client is saying. But the client is the one with your check. You know, so if you allow ego get in the way, obviously you lose that check.
And as a business,
if you lose check, you will fall. If you lose check, salary will suffer for it now.
So ego on both sides. Bury it.
You have to. So it is difficult for creatives, which is why a lot of times some partnerships work. My partner, who is a chief business officer, my current partner, who is a chief business officer, he's operated more on the business side of things.
Right.
So most times I just
seed that.
Okay, go and deal with that. Me or she. Let me focus on the work that God has sent me to come and do here. So it's good to also know yourself. Self-awareness is important. You know your triggers.
So I'm glad that you mentioned partnership now, because one of the biggest challenges of people in business, we often hear that you can't do it alone. If you want to go far, go with people. But collaboration and partnership or co-foundership is pain. And you did mention earlier that you once had partners with Russian Tap. Are there certain lessons or are there certain things that you would say that could guide people when forming a partnership, especially when you want to put a business together and grow together? Because now it's interesting that it's even on the same business. It's on Russian Tap. It was 3 of you, then it became 1, then now you have a partnership.
Okay. So one of my investors has this saying, because he's a well-grounded guy in tech. He has a VC as well. He always says, look, partnership is like marrying a wife. And, you got to ensure that you date or court that wife before you put a ring. You need to be sure that person is the one for you. And as we're finding marrying a wife, you need to find those complementary characteristics.
Right.
There's all sorts of ways to evaluate these things. You can use horoscope, whatever it is. But you just need to treat it as though you are finding a wife. And if you know you and this person cannot cohabit,
Right.
don't go.
So
The signs are there.
are you advocating for some sort of test projects before you decide to go in bed? Is that why your initial relationships with your former partners didn't work?
Mhm.
Did you have the opportunity to test run projects with your new partnership, and is that why it's working?
Okay, so the lead of my former partners, obviously, we kind of rushed into things, and that's the obvious reason why we all didn't align on certain things. My new partners, I've kind of known the lead investor. I've known him for years. We actually went to the same country school.
Right.
He's been like my, would I say, mentor from afar in terms of all things investment and tech.
Oh, right.
So I always try to learn what he's doing, in that space, study how things are going in that space. So the tech industry has been, my learning ground,
Right.
even though I'm not active in that space, but I've just been learning a lot from there.
And you have just heard from Soji Ogunnaike on how creatives can scale and expand themselves just beyond the creative and blend seamlessly their business side. What are you building today? As a creative, how are you thinking of scaling and becoming a bigger business? Remember, real stories, real strategies. That's how empires are built. And this is Idea to Empire.